Welcome to Meet the Compiler's Little Friend, ALTOOL.EXE. Hey, I'm Eric, and with BC version 24, aka 2024, this is one of the tool versions where there's a link between the version number and the year. 2024 wave 1, we get the AL compiler version 13. And with this, we kind of, the compiler, apparently, so now the compiler is a superhero. We have known that for a while, but now it for sure is a superhero because it got a sidekick. And the sidekick is called ALTOOL.EXE. And as any good superhero, the stuff you pass to your sidekick are not that important tasks. You offload to the co-processor. You offload to the sidekick, and now the AL compiler has a sidekick. So let's take a look at what that actually is. So let's see if I can locate my screen. Here we go. So you guys know I am a sucker for the command prompt. So we'll do the command prompt thing. So the first question is, where is the compiler actually? If we cannot find the compiler, how can we find the sidekick? And in here, when we go and we install the compiler, it's kind of just, it's here, right? But where is here? Let me show you. So if we go back to command prompt, the way Visual Studio Code works is that it kind of tries to not impose on the PC as such, but it imposes on the user. So if I go to users, to Eric, to .VS Code, we can see that there's something called extensions in here. So I go to extensions, and now we get a list. I think I could do it like, we can see we get a list of all the extensions that I have installed on my machine. And one of them is the ms-dynamics-smb.al-13. Remember, this is the version 13 of the compiler. So if I go into ms-dynamics AL version 13, this is the compiler. We can look at the license and says this extension is made available on the following Microsoft software license term, blah, blah, blah. But in here we also have a folder called bin. Let's actually clear the screen. We can go into bin, and in that we have a folder for Windows, for Mac and for Linux, but we go into Windows here. And in Windows, boom, there's a bunch of files. Mostly DLLs. But there's also some exe files. So let's look at what executables we have. There are 5. So the compiler is alc.exe. And aldoc is the documentation tool. There's a video on the channel on that one. So if you want to know how you create documentation for your extension, this is the tool, and there's a video that shows you how. But here is the sidekick, ALTOOL.EXE. Funny side note, you can see that all these 3 applications clearly pretty much have the same exact size. So does that mean that the ALTOOL has all just as much functionality as the compiler? No. The 151,000 bytes here are mainly just an entry point for the program. So if I look, see what ALTOOL files do we actually have in here, we can see that there's the ALTOOL.EXE, which is kind of just a bootloader. Then there's the ALTOOL.dll, which is the functionality in this. and there's a debug file for some reason, and also a runtime configuration. If we do look at that, ALTOOL.runtime configuration, we can see that this one runs on .NET 8.0, and that's the framework. And config properties, system reflection, metadata updater is supported false, and serialization enable unsafe binary format serialization also false. If we look at the other file, the one, if I go to ALTOOL, the depths JSON, totally sidetracked right now, by the way, but the depths file in a .NET Core application will actually show you all the dependencies to different things. So there's command line parser, makes sense. The AL nav code analysis makes sense. JSON, system diagnostics, file version info, and .NET Core runtime. So, and then this is actually the runtime for ALTOOL.exe, .dll. This is where stuff are. Then there's a bunch of explanation on that part of that runtime. We also have Visual Basic, because we always need a bit of Visual Basic in our lives. Anyway, that was a side note. So what can we do with ALTOOL? What is ALTOOL? Well, we can, let's call it ALTOOL. ALTOOL 13.0.14. A lot of thing plus an ID. So this is version straight out of the build process. Errors, no verb selected, and then it lists 5 different things we can ask for. We can do ALTOOL version. So the version, ALTOOL help. We'll do the same thing as if we didn't specify anything. And then we have 3 functions. Get package manifest. Get the manifest from an app file. So we can do ALTOOL get package manifest, enter. Verb get package manifest is not recognized. Okay, let's try this again. This time we're gonna be case sensitive. Let's see how that goes. Better. A required value not bound to option name is missing. Value position 1, required path to package file *.app file. Okay, so we can totally do that. Let's do working YouTube 2, 1 list 2 tables app. I think that was, and there's an app file for that. We hit enter, boom, we get the manifest. So with this, if you get an app file, you can give me the manifest. This actually works. I'm not going to show it on screen here because but this also works on runtime apps. So if you get a runtime app from me or from anyone, you can actually extract the app manifest out of it, including things that might not we want to expose, such as telemetry keys, but that's what's happening right now anyway. Maybe that change after Microsoft watches this video. But here, anyway, we get the manifest. So what was the other command? Create simple package. Okay, so if we take this, so we do ALTOOL create simple package. And then we find the package file, we hit enter. Ooh. So a required value not bound to option name is missing. Value position 1, required path to input package file. App, required path to output. So I guess we need to output .app. Okay. We got an app file. So if we open that with 7-zip, we can see that we got a manifest, symbols, JSON, and nothing else. Aha. So we can actually convert any app file to a symbols app only. Interesting. So the story behind this ALTOOL.exe is that while Microsoft were working on ALGo on GitHub, they switched away from .NET Framework into .NET Core for the compiler. So now the compiler is only .NET Core. They had to recreate certain functions, and they needed a good place to put them. And you know, these are not that important. Well, they are in some cases, but let's sideload them into the sidekick. So this is a job for the hireling, for the sidekick. This is not a job for the main character of the movie. Okay, let's try the last one. Get latest supported run. I'm totally gonna, since this is case sensitive and everything, I'm totally gonna copy that one in. ALTOOL. I will paste that in. A required value not bound to option name is missing. Value position 1, required platform version 24. Unable to pass version 24.5, 13.0. So remember, and I have done this way too many times. So basically, this is Microsoft creating an application that does the same thing as when I always try to explain the version numbers. So this is me as a program. So when you have version 24, you subtract 11, and then you get the compiler version. So if you're working on version 17, you still subtract 11, so you're working on compiler version 6. And nav 2018 is version 0. Okay, so let's play with this. So I would like the get the latest supported runtime version for platform version 14. Unknown 13. Unknown 12. Okay, 14.5. No. 0.10. 20. 15.0. There we go. 4.0. So apparently we don't care about all the old stuff. Not that old stuff. Some of the old stuff. So if I have something that is version 21.6, no, 0.5. I thought there were versions of 21 supported versions going up to 10 or something like that. 22.6. Okay, I'm actually so again here. I'm not completely sure why. Is this too? So I guess this might go hand in hand somehow with get the simple package, and we get a application, but that shouldn't matter because we also have a runtime. Anyway, okay, so clearly I can now use that program and just input something instead of going through the whole spiel about version numbers. I think this is just the beginning. So right now they have those 3 very specific things that they needed place. They had some tasks they needed some software to solve, and they need a good place to put them. So here. So my guess is that going forward, whenever there's work for the sidekick, this is where Microsoft is going to put it. So keep the compiler, and then whatever sidekick functionality is needed, that goes into ALTOOL.EXE. So with this in mind, one thing that is slightly annoying, actually, is that this thing is always switching location, because whenever, and you're updating your VS Code all the time, so whenever there's an update to your extension, these files goes into a new folder. Maybe at some point I should consider putting some of these exes in a more static location, even just as a file link to the real thing. So consumers of these files could put them in a path, or having a static place where they can refer to, and they don't change location every time your VS Code extension happens to update. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. If you want to see more AL stuff, wow, there's something weird with my fingers here. There we go. This video, that's for you. And I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.